Year 3, happy Monday. I hope you've had a very restful weekend and enjoyed some of the blue skies that we're finally seeing coming through because spring is on its way. It is spelling day, so we need to get ready for our spelling test. And these spelling words are the words that have the suffix ly, but they are the exception to the rule, which means they don't follow the rules that we've been learning. And then this is the last week on the ly suffix. So what I would like you to do is get your spelling books ready. I'm just going to share a screen with you like I would if we were at school, which is just literally the date here, the 18th of the 1st, 2021. If you're in group 1, you only need to write the numbers down 1 to 8. And if you're in group 2 and 3, you've got 10 spellings. So write the numbers 1 to 10. If you're not working in your spelling books and you're doing it on paper, that's fine as well. But just make sure you keep a little collection of them together that you can slot into your spelling book. So we've got them all together then when you return to school. So I'm going to ask you to stop or pause the video for now while you get yourselves ready and get a pencil ready. And then when you're ready, you can come back and press play again. Okay, so you should be ready now. You should have your pencil, your spelling book or a piece of paper. And remember, we are writing each word out. If you make a mistake or if you want to change what you've written, we cross the whole word out and we write it again. That just stops rubbing out or stops crossing out any letters, other letters in the word. So making it nice and clear, lovely handwriting so we can see it. And I just want to say a big well done for last week's results, because you did really well to do your spelling test, send it in to us, and then we could record all your results. So well done. You did a really, really good effort last week. So let's get going with number 1. Pencils at the ready. The first word is the word publicly. Publicly. Well done. Number 2, truly. You are truly working extremely hard at home. Truly. Year 3, if I'm going too fast on the video for you, remember you can always pause it while you write the word down. Number 3, dryly. Dryly. Well done. Number 4, daily. You are seeing Mrs. Davis and I daily for your home learning videos. Number 5, fully. We are fully into the swing of our home learning. Fully. Number 6, shyly. Not a word we use very often. In fact, some of these we don't really use very often. Shyly. Number 7, coyly. So it doesn't mean coyly like a spring. It means it's the adverb to describe somebody being coy. That means a bit suspicious, like a fox. And number 8, slyly. Slyly. So if you're in your group 1, you have done all of yours. Group 2 and 3, you've got 2 more to go. So number 9, duly. When we say it, it sounds like a lady's name, Julie, but duly. And then number 10 is the word wholly. Not like a sock with a hole in it, as in a whole of something, the whole of something. holy. Well done, Year 3. So remember, if you've missed any, you can always rewind the video. And if you've paused it, that's fine as well. You can go back and double check. Please try not to make any changes to your words once you've done them and you're happy with them. What we'd like you to do is either now take a picture of your spellings and send them to your class email, or you can get your parents to mark them for you and then send us through your results. Either way, if your parents are busy, we are happy to see the spellings and we can send your results over. What we have been asking in Otter's class, I'm not sure about Squirrels, but it's a really good practice, is the ones that you get wrong, if you get any wrong, we would ask you either in your spelling book underneath your spelling test or on a piece of paper, is to write out the ones you get wrong 5 times, a bit like the rainbow words. You could write them in different colours like we do in handwriting as well. Because if you've got it wrong, it means you need a little bit more practice on it. So we've asked Otter class, the ones they've got wrong, to write out 5 times. We don't need to see that, that's just for you. So send us your results. I have no doubt you'll have done very well, and we will get on to our new spelling rule now. So I'm just going to open up a PowerPoint for our new spelling rule, if I can find it. Here we go. So we are finally moving away from the suffix ly. It feels like we've been doing it for a long time. And you've worked really, really hard on those. So our new spelling rule are words short with the short I sound spelt using a Y. So in some words, when we see an I, it is, you spell it using the letter Y. So it's replacing it. So we'll have a quick look at these words together, and then I'm going to set you an activity once I've shown you your spellings for you to have a go at home. The short I sound can be formed in words using EY, like in honey, I as in pig, U as in busy, and E as in pretty. So the short I sound, this sound, I, is the short I sound, I, exactly like you learn it in lower school, can be used not just with an I, like in pig, p, I, g, but it can be used with different letters. So in this one here, b, I, s, e, can you see that the U, the letter U, is making an I sound? So let's sound it out together. B, I, s, e. B, I, s, e. Now, if we were using our phonetics to spell busy and we were thinking about the sounds, it would make much more sense for this word to have an I in it, because that's the sound it makes. But we know, just like we've learnt with the suffix ly, there are always exceptions to the rule. And the English language is one of the hardest languages because it has so many different rules. So here, the U is making the I sound, like in pig, pig. Down here with this pretty flower, the E is making the I sound. It, E. This E is making the I sound. Confusing. Over here in the word honey, let's sound it out. Or E, I would say. The E and the Y together are making that short I sound, E sound. Okay, so it's different ways that the letter I is represented in words, as a U, as an E, as an I, as an EY. Now the EY one for me seems a little bit different to these ones because it's more of an E sound, an E, rather than an I sound. So we need to just be careful with that one. But today we're going to look at making the I sound in a different way. Have a little think, how else does the I sound be shown in words? It did say it on the front. Well done if you got it, with a Y. So we've got an EY, an I, an E and a U here for I. We're going to be looking at the I being shown with a Y. So we've got this word here. This is quite a hard word. The word myth. Now a myth is a story from the past. You hear lots of myths about like fantasy creatures and things from the past. So myth, let me sound it out for you. I. Did you hear the I sound in the word myth? I. The I sound here, if we were in lower school, we would probably put the letter I there because it sounds like the I sound. But we know that when we hear the I sound in these words, we are writing it with a Y. That's our rule. I, spelt with a Y, myth. Then we've got this word, the word gym. Okay, so we know we do gymnastics at school, or you can go to the gym to work out. So let's sound it out. J, I, Did you hear the I sound again? The I here is represented with a Y. J, I, So all the words that we hear today, when we hear that sound, that I sound, we need to remember that we're not using I, the letter I, we're using a Y. Here's one you should all know, and I'm pretty sure that you will all be able to spell this, the word Egypt, after our wonderful topic that you all loved so much last half term. Egypt, so let's sound it out. Egypt, Egypt. Can you hear again? This Y sound is making what sound? This Y letter, sorry. It's making what sound? Well done if you said I. Normally, we would write an I here, an I, but the Y is representing the I in this word, Egypt. And I hope everybody's going to get that spelling right this week. Another one that you should also get right, linked to our Egyptian topic is the word pyramid. 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 Now we've got an I sound here represented with an I, id, for pyramid. But we've also got an I sound here, id. This is the I sound represented with the Y. Another word here, mystery. Now we've got two Y's here, one at the beginning and one at the end. I'm going to give you a minute to see if you can sound it out in the same way I've just done with the other ones and figure out which one of those Y's is making the I sound. Have a go. Okay, hopefully you've all had a go. I'm going to sound it out and see if you've got the same as me. I, st, I. I, st, I. Did you figure it out? It's this one here. This first Y is making the I sound, which is what we're looking for this week. Well done if you got that right. Another word here, him. Him, not like I was looking at the boy, I was pointing at him in reference to pointing to a boy. This is a hymn that you sing in assemblies or sometimes at church. It's a song usually sung in a place of worship. So hymn, I, I, So you can see again that Y, let me go back. The Y is making the I sound. Now him is a real tricky one because the M and the N together, the N is silent. So you've got to remember that for your spellings because M and N together are silent. They go just the sound, making the silent. So let's try it again. I, And you've got to remember that silent N on the end. Okay, another one, I think you've been doing about some of this before in science, is the word system. 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 And there's the Y again, making what sound? Everybody tell me. I, the I sound. Well done. Oh, here's another one. We use this all the time, and we're going to be doing a little bit of this in our maths this week using a new symbol. We use them in music and we use symbols in maths. Well, we use symbols all the time. So let's have a look again. S, I, b, o. S, I, b, o. There it is. There's that Y again, making the I sound. So every time you hear I, you're not going to write I, you're going to write Y. Here's another one. Lyric. Lyric. Now, a lyric is the words to songs. So if you're singing a song, you're singing the lyrics. I, ik. Lyric. Now we've got the I sound with our letter I here, which is what we learn in lower school. We've also got the sound I with our Y sound here as well. And I think this might be the last one. The word typical. Typical. So this picture, I think, is showing a typical example of how most children are learning at the moment. Headset on, in front of a laptop. A typical example of how most of the children in England are learning at the moment. So let's have a look here. Again, we've got an I and we've got a Y here. So let's have a look. T, I, p, ik, o. Typical. T, I. There it is. P, I. So we've got an I with the I and we've also got an I with a Y. So when you're learning your spellings, you need to remember which one is with an I and which one is with a Y. So they're some of the spellings this week. So we can see that the short I sound has been made with a Y, but not always with a Y. There's a couple of them, like in pyramid, like in lyric, and like in typical, that's got the I sound with an I and with a Y. So it's a bit of a trick one there, trick 3 ones for you to practice there. These words contain the letter Y, making the I sound like we've just gone over together. So these are your spellings for this week, those same spellings that I've just gone through with you. Now, if you're group 1, I've taken 2 off. You've only got 8 to learn. The rest of you have got all 10. This one here, I just want to have a look at. Why has this one got a capital E to begin with? Why is that? Can anybody remember the rule as to why this one, Egypt, would have a capital E at the beginning? Well done if you've remembered. It is the name of a place. And so the name of a place always needs a capital letter. So when you're practicing your spellings this week, it's important to remember that Egypt, having the name of a country, needs to have a capital letter for you to get it right. If you write it with a lowercase e, we're going to say it's not right this week, because it's really important that we're practicing the rules in all elements of our spellings, and we know that this needs a capital letter. So just remember that when you're practicing your spellings today. So they are your spellings. I'm going to stop the share there now. This week, to learn your spellings, you can do the rainbow word sheet, which we went over last week. I don't have to go over that again with you. That's in the folder, the OneDrive folder. You've also got a word search, which we saved last week as well. I don't need to go over that. You're very familiar with those. But I'm also going to set you another little activity to have a go at, which is a bit more practical. And I know that you like creating things and doing things a bit more hands-on. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And I saw this online with some younger children who are learning how to read, but I've also seen it with older children learning their spellings. It's a really, really good way of memorizing some of those spelling rules. So what you'll need for this, and we did write it on the overview, you need some paper or some card, some scissors and some glue. That's what you need for this activity. So I have got here just a scrap piece of paper. So I just need one piece of paper here, And I've got some card. I got this out the recycling bin. It was a package, and I've just cut it into strips like this. So I've got 10 if I'm in group 2 or group 3, or 8 if I'm in group 1. So I've literally just got a box. It could be a cereal box or a package box, and I've just cut these into strips like this. So you've got enough for each spelling. Okay, so I'm just going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing down here. So here's my piece of paper. You may need 2 pieces depending on how big your strips are. And then you've got each strip like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down your spellings, leaving a gap in between each one. So I'm going to start with the word pyramid. So I've got P, I, R, A, M, I, D, pyramid. I've written it on there. I'm hoping that's not back to front when you read it. Pyramid. So you can see I've left a little gap in between each letter, only a slight gap, but it's very clear. There's my word. And I used a felt tip to do that because I think it's a bit better. You can see it a bit clearer if you use a felt tip. So there's my word pyramid. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it into pieces. So it's a little bit like a jigsaw, I guess, a spelling jigsaw. There we go. So you can see here now, I've got my letters here all muddled up. So you can do this in 2 ways. You can either give them a shuffle or get your parents to give them a shuffle, leave them in a pile and find each letter at a time. So I know that I'm doing 1 spelling at a time. Don't do all of your spellings because you'll get all the letters all muddled up. So I'm doing 1 spelling at a time. So I'm going to look now. I know that this word begins with a P. So I'm going to pop it on my piece of paper here. And this is where you'll need your glue because you'll want to stick it down. Pyramid. P-I-I-I-I. Now, if I remember, pyramid, the I sound at the beginning is made with a Y. So I'm going to stick that down next to it. P-I-R. Next sound. P-I-R-A. Next sound. P-I-R-A. Put it together. P-I-R-A-I, made with the I letter I. P-I-R-A-I-D, pyramid. And I've rebuilt my word so I can stick it down now on my piece of paper. So I'm going to go right to the top of the page. Let's see if you can see it so that I've got lots of room. Or if I turn my paper this way actually and do it to portrait rather than landscape. I think pyramid's probably one of the longest words. Pyramid, like that. And then I'm going to stick it down. And then underneath, I could practice writing it. Pyramid. Okay? I could practice writing it a couple of times underneath. Pyramid. Okay? Now, you could do it like that, just like that. Or you could almost play a little game with yourself where you have to pick out... it's upside down. Here they are, all upside down. Pick out a sound. So pyramid goes about there in the word. Pick out another one. D goes at the end. Pick out another one. I know goes near the start. Y. Now, is that y? Oh, no, I know if I see a y today, the letter Y, it's making the I sound. Pyramid. So I know it goes there. Turn it over. A goes there. P is at the beginning. And I goes in there. And I've built it again. And again, you can practice writing it underneath. So what you've done is you have written out your spelling on a piece, a strip. It can be any strip. It doesn't matter. Leaving a little gap. Then with your scissors, you've cut them up and put them into a pile. Then you can either mix the pile up and then try and put it back in order and stick it down and then practice writing underneath it. Or you can turn them over and turn one over at a time. So I'll do one more with you, just so you know what I mean. And I'm going to choose the word, a very small word. So I need a small strip. Nice and easy. The word myth. I. 2 letters, 1 sound, a digraph. I'm going to cut them up. I'm just just going to cut the end off that one because I've made it a little bit too long. Myth. Oh, 2 sounds. 2 letters even. Myth. So I know I've got 4 letters. So I can either jumble them up like this and then put them back in order, or I can turn them over and pick one at a time. Myth. That goes at the end. Yeah. Now, is it a y sound or an I sound? Oh, it's an I sound. So it goes there. If. Then I've got a t. So I know it goes there with to make th. And then at the beginning. If. I've made it. And then underneath, I can practice writing it again. Okay, so this is just, you can see I've done there. So I've done 2 now. Now mine aren't glued down, but yours would be glued down. And I'm hoping that's not completely upside down and back to front for you. If I turn it round like that, maybe that would be better for you to see. There we go. So you can see what I've done. And yours would be glued down onto the piece. So you probably will need a couple more pieces of paper glued down. Now this may seem quite simple, quite a simple activity. But what it's doing is it's making you think of how the word is built. So that rather than just writing it out lots of times and looking at it and writing it out, it's making you think about the sounds in the word. And when you learn how to read simple words like cat, you had to think of each sound one at a time, cat, to put them together. So what I'm asking you to do is to go back to those skills that you learnt in lower school, but with much more difficult words, to build a word so that you remember it and put it into your back memory bank. So that's your activity for today. I would love to see how you get on with that, because it is a bit different to how we normally do things. If you can't do this, you've still got, like I said, the word search and the rainbow words to complete, which we will have in the folder every week. But what I'm going to try and do is do something a bit more practical so that you're not doing the same every week, because it can become a little bit tedious then, and then you won't want to do it. So have a go, try something new, and let us know how you get on. So our spelling test will be next Monday again in exactly the same way, and I'm hoping to see some of your lovely creative word building activities. Take care, Year 3. Bye-bye.